I feel like we haven't had a really good, like, witch chant in a while.
Yeah.
Can we just get, like, a good witch? Please let us know how hype you are for witches in the chat below. I feel like we've gotten caught up in all this meta-narrative and, like, stuff about Battler learning the truth of what happened on Rokkenjima, and I think that's getting all in the way of the fact that there are witches and they want to be my friend.
Yeah.
So I feel like we all got to circle back around at some point and just remember that witches are cool, they're real, they're our friends.
The fucking giant robot whoosh meme, but wow, cool witches.
Exactly. Except even the whoosh is wow, cool witches. I could hear the eerie sound of wind and rain. Once again, I hazily regained consciousness on top of the bed. The finger that the witch had bitten off was attached to my hand. Not to say that it was all an illusion, but the finger was now attached. After all the pain and the teeth marks as though a witch had bitten it were still there. And yet the window, which I had supposedly smashed, had been fixed as though it had never been broken in the first place. How can I escape from this creepy room? Why am I locked up in this eerie room all alone? I want to get out. I have to get out. Please let me out. The door was sealed with a firm chain. I could open it a crack, but only enough to peek out into the corridor at best. Even getting just a fist through it would probably be hard. The window wouldn't budge either. It was no better than a barred prison window. The bathroom didn't have a window. The only thing that could get out of here was the water that flowed out if you turned on the tap. No matter what I do, I can't think of a way out of here. While shut up in a place like this, I truly am a prisoner. Unless someone comes from outside to save me, I won't be able to get out for all eternity. In that case, can I just call for help? Yeah. A tiny gap I can make in that door must exist so I can call for help. But can I make the words come out? Earlier I tried to call out for help, but for some reason the words couldn't escape my mouth. Maybe I was just confused. I might have lost my voice in my haste and confusion. I'll open the door and make
Battler has haste.
Battler has haste. Battler also has confusion. I don't remember how. It's been a while since I played the Pokemon TCG. I'm pretty sure confusion was one of the statuses you could have in that game.
Mm.
I'll open the door and make that crack appear one more time. The warm light of the hallway flowed in, making the darkness of the room stand out all the more. Though I couldn't hear any voices, I did feel something peaceful. I'm sure everyone's in the room at the other end of the hallway, chatting happily about something. If I can just call out, surely someone will come to save me. Holding back some indescribable fear, I tried yelling once more. But the result was the same. It was like trying to yell underwater. All I did was get out of breath, unable to call out in the slightest. Even though I could say as much as I wanted if I just grumbled to myself inside of the room, whenever I tried to make the voice reach outside, I choked and was unable to say anything. I understand. My body isn't the only thing locked up in this eerie, closed room. My voice is, too. Thinking that I could use some kind of other sound to call for help, I tried opening and closing the door violently, making the chain rattle. It does sound as though it's clanking noisily, but it's surely no good. Even this sound is being locked inside this closed room. No matter how harsh a sound I make, I'm sure it'll be quieter than a leaf falling by the time it reaches the other end of the corridor. I tried using the hateful chain that sealed the door to make a sound to call for someone, but that only deepened my despair. This chain? That's insane. Just a second ago, it was a stiff chain that looked like it might be used to seal a monster away, but at some point it had transformed into a normal chain lock. This changes everything. Now I can just undo it from the inside. I tried to undo it, but the chain wasn't long enough for that while the door was still open a crack and I couldn't get it off, obviously. Calm down. I gulped and calmly closed the door. Then when I saw that the chain had slackened enough, I touched it with my finger to make sure. And those little I hated chains because I could never get them undone right. However, that was a long time ago. Now I can undo something like this. Anyone could. It's easy. I imagine the demon who locked me in this room using this as a trap to give me hope, just to make me despair even more, but I pushed those thoughts aside for the time being. I undid the chain lock, and the chain dangled right before my eyes. Now, there's no lock sealing this door. Please don't torment me anymore and just open normally. Slowly, the door opened, and when I closed the door to undo the chain, the warm light from the hallway got cut off. I opened it again. What if that warm light is gone this time? I was even afraid of stuff like that. However, that was just me over-imagining things. Slowly, quickly, no, I guess this is normal for a door. The door let out an annoying creak. The exit from this cursed closed room finally opened. Is that really Ryukishi just saying, yeah, the person inside just left? Like, because we talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
About how we don't... It was brought up that we don't know when the chain was actually removed from the door.
Mm-hmm.
During that one particular instance of the closed room, right?
Yeah.
I did it. I did it. Even my cry of joy was strangled, but that doesn't matter anymore. All that matters is that I can get out. I poked my head out and looked left and right down the corridor. The warm corridor. I could sense people having fun at the other end. Everyone's right there. Let's go. Right now. Huh? At that moment, something cold and heartless crushed my throat. It was as though an iron loop had been fastened around my neck and pulled on hard from behind. No, not as though. Without my knowing, at some point, a thick metal collar had been fastened around my neck. When did this happen? When I turned around, I despaired even more. From the inner side of the door I had just opened, a thick chain had extended and attached itself to this collar I was wearing. I pulled on it, but it didn't even budge. When I shook it, the whole door creaked. What the hell? The chain that connected to my collar was attached to the inner side of the door. Yes, the same vanishing chain that had secured the door a short while back had suddenly become a chain holding me in place. That's insane! It's insane! Damn it, what is going on here? I pulled with all my strength, trying to tear the whole door off, but I already knew from repeated experiments that it wouldn't even budge. I'm sure this chain will disappear once I go back inside the room, but it'll never let me leave that room. Though it had apparently turned back into a normal chain lock, nothing had actually changed. The chain lock still bound me to that room. Tears flowing down my face, I pulled with all I had. It was completely useless. No matter what I did, I'd never tear it loose. And I wasn't even permitted to call out for help. I felt a confused anger at how the demon had mercilessly made me think that I'd escaped for just an instant. No matter how much I yelled, no voice came out, and no one on the other end of the corridor could hear me. And then, I noticed an odd stain on the wall of the corridor. It wasn't a stain. They were letters traced out by a finger that had been covered in red paint. Huh? Those letters, which looked like they'd been drawn in blood, answered my biggest question. The chain lock must be set. You are allowed to unset it, but it must then be reset. Unless it is set, this exit of yours will be unusable. I instantly understood the meaning of that ominous message, and then I tried it out and understood completely. When I returned to the room and reset the chain lock, the collar around my neck disappeared. So it's just recreating the rules for this particular puzzle.
Yep.
Right. When I undid the chain lock again, that heavy feeling around my neck returned. And I know we mentioned this on the pod we did with When We Cry. No. That wasn't When We Cry pod. That was when we were doing our episode 1 recap. But it is doable to set a chain lock from outside.
Yeah.
It's not trivial, but it's doable.
Yeah.
Like, you got 3 minutes or something and some scotch tape, you can do it. In other words, I cannot leave this room while the chain lock is still unset. In that case, why don't I just set the chain while outside the room? I undid the chain one more time. The collar and chain appeared around my neck again. Stepped out into the corridor and closed the door behind me, leaving only the slightest of cracks. I stuck my hand through that crack, grabbed the dangling chain, and tried to reset it somehow. Damn it. Even though it was so easy to do from the inside, why is it so hard to do from the outside? The gap needed to be wide if I wanted to manipulate the chain well. However, I made the chain too short to reach. To make the chain reach just a bit further, I'd have to close the door a little bit more. If I do that, there won't even be enough of a gap to fit my hand in. Of course, that was perfectly natural. Chain locks are made to be used from the inside. They'd be completely pointless if you could set and unset them from the outside. That's why the length of the chain is specially chosen to prevent anyone from setting or unsetting it from the outside. Then, can I use some kind of hard and thin tool? The gap of the door is just a finger's width across. That's more than enough for the chain to reach. I could just bend a wire hanger so it fits through the crack and work the chain with that. That's right. There's a closet just to the side of the door. Could there be some hangers in there? Found one! Oh, thank God! Single cheap-looking hanger, like the one you might find in a laundry room, was hanging there. Really? Pretty sure that when I last looked a short while ago, nothing was in this closet. Who cares? Quickly, quickly! I twisted the wire hanger, bending the end with the tip around. I formed a loop at the end to grab at things with, making for a sort of burglar's tool. I then dashed out into the corridor again and closed the door, almost as far as it would go. My wrist could never pass through this. However, if I closed it this much, the chain should have extra length to spare. And this crack is large enough for me to stick the hanger through. Now it's just a matter of technique. I keep trying. I'll definitely be able to do it eventually. I'm certain of it. It's harder than it looks, but the chain is long enough. It isn't impossible. I'd finally got my hands on the one way to escape. It was hard, yes, but it was theoretically possible. If it's possible, then I'll be able to get out. I'll be able to escape from here. At that moment, I felt a heavy weight on the far side of the door. It felt as though someone from inside the room had pressed their forehead against the door and was drawing closer. And she, the witch, had laughed. Then I felt a powerful and strange force on the wire hanger. Was she trying to grab it away from me? Yeah, right. Like hell I'd let that go. Like hell I'll let my one key out of here get stolen while my guard is down. Fortunately, I'd stuck my wrist through so that I wouldn't drop it if my hand got tired. You won't be able to snatch this out of my hands. The witch on the other side of the door just laughed at me. And then I noticed something weird. Looked at my left hand, which I had pressed against the door to hold it in place, and between the fingers of that hand, I could see something red. They were red letters. I realized immediately. At some point in time, even more bloody letters had been drawn on the door, and my left hand had been covering them up. Still fighting against the vise-like strength of the witch beyond the door, I moved my left hand to the side. Where that hand had been, bloody letters had been indeed drawn. And there, as though someone had predicted that I'd struggle this way from the very beginning, was a message from the witch to me. It is impossible to set or unset the chain lock from the outside by any means. All tricks done from the corridor have been sealed by the red letters. No way. Well, okay, fine. If you're just going to say that by fiat, then I guess that's fine too. There was suddenly a terrible sound, and the force pulling on the hanger was suddenly released. When I pulled it out and looked, I lost all hope. As though it had been hit by the acid of the room's darkness, the tip of the hanger had burnt and bubbled and melted off. And now it's pitifully short. This can't be used for anything. It would be useless to search for a substitute. All schemes to set the chain from the outside have been prevented. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it! Threw the remnants of the wire hanger against the floor and faced the hallway with the warm light and called for help. Or if I just choked, unable to speak at all. Everyone's just down the corridor. And everything's peaceful there. I can't hear their voices, but I know. I'm sure they're all having a good time playing cards. Please, someone, notice. Someone save me. Ah! This time it wasn't just the witch's voice. It was the voices, happy voices of everyone else, which I could hear coming from the other end of the hallway. Someone, come over here and save me! So I have a feeling the big lead up to all this is going to be is going to be the answer that what we showed, the puzzle that you were shown there, aside from maybe any weird shenanigans about the timing of when the lock was removed, right, should very well tell you that there is no way in or out of that room aside from a hidden door in that you must infer the existence of it, and that counts as foreshadowing, I guess. Maybe?
Did we get a no hidden doors, or did we get a there's only these ways in or out?
I don't recall what we had. It's been a while. I don't recall what we had for that particular locked room.
Sorry, but I'm out.
George slammed his last card down, ending the game with victory once again. Damn it, you forgot to say Uno when we let you slide, George. Everyone gasped in unison. The cousin room was filled with laughter as they enjoyed their card game. You really did have it, George Odicki. Oh wait, no, this isn't Meta Battler. Damn you, 6 of spades.
Your 8 of diamonds was pretty nasty too, Battler. I was so close.
You're incredible, George Oni-chan. You won again.
Yep, looks like we've won again.
Maria couldn't really hold her own in an all-out battle, so she had teamed up with George, which was why she was celebrating his victory.
Luckily, I'm an adult and can assist you with the power of cheating at a children's card game.
I mean, they do all have money. Right? I'm just saying. At any point, any one of them could decide to screw the rules. None of them have green hair, though, so that option is not available to them. Ugh. Utter defeat. Cannon winced and let his cards drop to the table. The game of sevens between Cannon and the cousins had been a fierce battle. Normally they would take things easy since Maria was there, so this sort of game was rare. Cannon had started taking the game seriously, unwilling to lose, so George and Battler had responded, and the battle had grown fierce. Unlike Battler, who was carefree enough to enjoy it whether he won or lost, Cannon's mood changed drastically with every victory and defeat. It was less of a dislike for losing and more that he just wasn't used to playing. He wasn't used to trading a few wins and losses with his opponents, so he took even losses within a game seriously. Since he had resolved to win and had unfortunately challenged the veteran players George and Battler, the result was plain to see. Interesting. A little bit of Cannon psychology there. Since we suspect Cannon might be responsible for several of the murders in some of these game boards, that's a useful insight, I feel. As Cannon slumped his shoulders, Jessica slapped him on the back.
Hey, you almost had it. I love fighting all out like this.
Whether you go all out or not, if you just lose in the end, it's all pointless.
That's not true. If you really gave it your all, there's no reason to get all depressed when you lose. If you lost after hardly trying, then you'd be grumbling and complaining about how you would have won if you'd taken it seriously, right?
Alright, but what if my opponent locks down the board state and then proceeds to not win the game for another 12 turns? So I'm in a position where I can no longer do anything meaningful. I can't really affect the outcome of this game at all, and yet my opponent still doesn't have the means to actually win. So we're stuck here in this accursed loop for another 12 turns until they can finally ping me to death 2 damage at a time.
Get it, you right, buddy? That seemed like it came from somewhere raw.
I'm never playing Commander Night with you two ever again.
That's right. People who really give it their all never complain. They're always cheery no matter what the result is.
You're right. And they can be scarier than anyone else. They always learn something from their experience and grow.
Very true. I was a coward, so I could never learn anything. I see that I am still immature. I am furniture, so any dreams I might have are pointless.
Because he'd rigidly believed that, he'd distanced himself from everything, shutting himself away. However, during that same time, Shannon had undergone many life adventures, and now her hand was resting on the door, separating furniture and humans.
It's on Cannon's back? The door?
Yeah.
Oh yes, that's where you put the batteries in. What battery-powered furniture, you see? I am furniture, but that's okay.
God, that was such a good film. The old canon would only have seen this card game as a way to pass the time. However, the new canon was now capable of gaining something new from this experience. That's probably what it means to grow. Furniture does nothing but rot with the passage of time. The ability to grow is a privilege given only to humans.
Do you think when Canon has a sick day, they take him to the carpenters?
No, stop, please. Not the hammer again. I keep telling you. It doesn't work there. Ow! Fuck!
Thanks for playing with us. You probably had work to do, like filling in the log, right? I'm really glad you decided to hang out with us.
Don't worry about it. I had a lot of fun, too. Or should I say that? I've realized that this sort of thing is fun. Thank you for pushing so hard for me to come.
Let's challenge ourselves more and more. And let's go and find more and more things you didn't know about. Oh, by the way, about what we were talking about earlier, ever wanted to try playing guitar?
Right, Jessica plays guitar. Jessica has guitar strings. Jessica could garrote anyone she wants.
Well, I don't want to force you or anything, but...
I can only play Wonderwall. It must be very difficult, learning how to play songs other than Wonderwall.
Yeah, I guess.
Why didn't they just stop after the one?
They don't need any more songs after that one. Maybe Smells Like Teen Spirit.
But I'll do a good job teaching you, and I'll even practice with you. Well, I guess I'm not that much of an expert myself.
Don't sell yourself short. I've heard your Toho arrangements.
At first, Canon was scared that he might make a complete fool of himself if he touched a musical instrument for the first time in his life. After all, he knew that screwing up like that would make him feel bad. However, Canon was starting to learn.
It is only natural that I be bad when I first start. If I try to run away from it, I'll never learn a thing for all eternity. I'll never achieve anything.
That's right. Isn't that why people love it when they feel themselves improving? Even I sucked at making my left and right hands move at the same time when I first started. But I slowly got the knack of it, and it started to feel more and more natural.
I'd like to reach that level too. If one path to the goal is playing music with you, milady, I would love to do that with you.
Really?
Yes, just as long as I don't have to play bass. I'll play rhythm guitar if I must, but I will never in my life touch an accursed four-stringed instrument. I'm sure it'll be horrible when I start and might even make you lose hope in me at times. But if I've given it my all, then even messing up is no big deal. That is what I learned from you all just now.
You're embarrassing me.
Yay, good Jessica face!
I love you more than ever, milady, because I averted my eyes for so long, even though you shone like the sun. I never noticed you when you were right there next to me.
Then I had better work even harder to make you love me even more.
Canon's serious and competitive words were more than enough to make Jessica shy. However, Canon's expression unexpectedly clouded.
Milady, the reason I love you is so clear. Because of that, I can't bear not knowing.
Not knowing what?
What is the average airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? It's come back around, right? It's no longer overdone. But like we can reference that film again, right? Why did you start to like me? Like you, I don't shine in any sense. Even now, I'm just clinging to your back as you shine the way. I can't think of any reason why you would want to love somebody as shabby as me.
That's not true, okay? There are all kinds of good things about you, Canon-kun.
Let me swallow my pride and ask, what about me made you like me, milady? Also, why are we having this conversation in the hallway? Do we want to let everyone listen in on this? Like, no offense or anything, but did you want Erica to hear us?
Canon hung his head. Since he had never learned of anything on his own, he had never been able to take the initiative with her in any way. The fact that he was accepting her affection one-sidedly, unable to do anything but simply receive it, made him sad and frustrated at himself. Jessica was lost for words. After all, compared to the reason that Cannon had started to love Jessica, Jessica's reason was a lot more vague. She had heard Shannon talking about her love with George, and at school she and her friends had always talked about relationships with boys. There would have been nothing strange about a girl fascinated by the idea of romance, developing an interest in a nearby member of the opposite sex. However, if you put that into words, it might be misinterpreted to mean that any nearby boy would have done just as well. However, she could still be proud of the feelings she felt at this very instant. She really did love Cannon, and she truly wanted to experience romance. As a result, they might end up together, or they might not. However, if she reached that result without holding back, she could accept it no matter which it was. That's why she was able to become serious and honest about how she felt. However, she couldn't find the right words to tell Cannon this. When Cannon saw Jessica bite her lower lip in frustration, he finally realized. I'm such a fool.
Huh?
What about me do you like? That very question is foolish. It's proof that I am not serious about myself and that I haven't been able to understand even myself. It's horrible of me to try and make you say it for me.
That's not true. After all, it's the first question any girl would like to ask after being given a love confession. What part of me do you like?
Yeah, it is the first thing a girl would like to be asked after being given a love confession. Let's not read any more into that. Hashtag Trannon theory. So, actually, on Trannon theory,
Yeah.
Someone in the Discord brought up a different playthrough of the game where where someone else has boldly asserted the inverted Trannon theory, where Cannon is trans feminine.
Interesting.
Yes. So there's a lot of very, very good. I'd like to point out that I believe all interpretations of Trannon theory are valid, and I believe that as long as one of us turns out to be true in the end, we can all get there together. It was immature of me to ask you that. How could anyone love someone so immature?
Wait, that's not...
Jessica panicked, trying desperately to explain how she felt. However, Cannon was calm. And then he spoke. In that case, I want you to love me the way I already love you. Decided to start changing myself so that can happen. I can hardly imagine that you would love me as I am. But someday, no matter what.
Yeah. I'm absolutely sure you'll become a wonderful person, Cannon.
This is the absolute transist shit I've ever read.
A guy so cool that I can't keep my eyes off you. Until then, I'll stick by you all the way. We have plenty of time.
So, the reason I'm thinking it's trans mask theory is because they keep talking about how Cannon will become the person she can love, right? And then they still refuse to refer to this future Cannon as a guy, right? So I'm like, maybe we can hope. Please sound off in the comments and let me know how wrong I am by having my queer glasses on.
They use the same becoming a wonderful guy language and so on with George repeatedly.
Oh, the glasses guy.
Does this put you on transmask George theory?
No, he's just he's already a guy. As far as we've had no reason to question his guyness, I guess. But unfortunately, there isn't that much time left.
What do you mean?
It usually saddens you when I talk about furniture. However, this is something I must tell you, and it is also something I must fight for with all of my soul.
What are you talking about? I don't want to hear any more of that I'm furniture so I can't fall in love talk. You're a human, not furniture.
Yes, I would like to become human, much like Detroit. However, I am still currently furniture.
In that case, just do it. Become human.
Could you give me an example to strive for? Anything, who is a human being? I'm blanking. I can't name any human beings.
Yeah, that's a toughie.
The witch taught me once about the single element of this world. According to her, it is love. It is something that humans born into this world can take for granted.
However, it is not something that those not from this world, who are born as furniture, can take for granted. In order to gain it for themselves, they must have magic or a miracle. In just the same way that Nason and George Salma would never have ended up as they have without borrowing the power of that golden butterfly brooch.
I don't really get that last part.
What is it that you do not understand? Let me hear it.
Since this game began, a large portion of the time has been spent on Shannon and Cannon's determination to fall in love. I got no problem interpreting that as a story of growth and teenage determination for a girl and boy who call themselves furniture, but one of the assumptions they make feels really out of place to me.
And why is magic necessary? Is that it?
Both Shannon and Cannon call themselves furniture. They've always claimed that there can't be love between furniture and humans. At that point, the magic of the golden butterfly brooch comes into play, and as the miraculous result of its magic, love is established between Shannon and George Oni-chan. That's what they claim.
Might it mean merely that forbidden love between people of different classes would be unmanageable without a miracle of magic?
You fucking tell me, you wrote the book.
Is it not clear that I wish to be surprised by something that I could not have foreseen?
All right.
I can always get to new Miko if you'd like to go back to the, I don't know, being dead? Probably.
Dead popcorn. Dead popcorn. It's
That's
a toughie,
right,
but I'll pick
bitch.
the popcorn.
Put that butter all over it. Make that bucket deep. We will be popping all night up in this bitch.
True. I can accept that Shannon and Cannon, who are servants in forbidden love with members of the family and suffering for it, might debase themselves by calling themselves furniture.
Then what is it that you cannot accept?
Without borrowing the power of magic once more, marriage will be impossible. That seems to be a common understanding between Shannon and Cannon. I just can't understand that part.
After meeting in... Oh, this is Angie verse, right?
After meeting in secret for quite some time, George and Shannon had finally gotten engaged. Both were fully prepared for it emotionally, and though there would be some trouble with the relatives, it would probably be impossible for anyone to prevent their marriage by this point.
Trying to stand between two who wish to be wed is as foolish as standing in front of an arrow and trying to catch it.
or standing in front of a bullet and trying to magic it. But I managed that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, that is very good for you that you accomplished that feat. How are you feeling? Porous?
Exactly. Now that George Oni-chan has sworn to protect his lover for the rest of their lives, he has no need to fear opposition and disinheritance from his parents. On the contrary, you might even consider that a perfect test of his love for her. In other words, they will be married, no matter what. No one can stop them. And they both consented to the engagement.
No one can stop them or impede them. Trying to break apart lovers is a foolhardy venture.
Yeah, and that's what's strange. There's no need for magic. If George and Shannon had wanted Ava's approval for their engagement, then magic might really have been necessary. After all, Ava had forbidden his relationship with her. No matter how much George spoke on Shannon's behalf, the chances of Ava being convinced were very near zero. If that were the case, it would be understandable if they'd wanted a magical miracle to make Ava acknowledge that engagement. However, George Oni-chan has already made an oath. He doesn't care whether his parents approve of the engagement or not. Yeah, there's nothing standing in the way of their engagement. And Shannon should know that well herself. So why is it that now, on this night where the proposal went so smoothly, she's still praying for a miracle of magic?
According to the furniture, she won't even have the right to marry without such a miracle.
And there you go. It means that Shannon has accepted George's proposal, but she knows that there's still some kind of barrier that can't be overcome without a magical miracle. And that barrier isn't something that they can overcome by their own efforts. That's why they need this miracle called magic. Why do they need magic? If two people love each other, what other miracle could they possibly need to be together?
Just screen cap that, right? I see. Featherine listened to Angie's interpretation, smiling in a satisfied way. Apparently she had already reached that conclusion and enjoyed watching Angeli finally manage to do the same.
And that same question applies to Canon as well. The love between him and Jessica Onechan has just begun, but their emotions are pure. There's nothing standing in their way. They're already in a loving relationship even without the golden butterfly brooch. The relationship they've started might easily last for years, eventually resulting in marriage. There's nothing standing in their way either. As long as they don't seek approval from Kraus and Natsuhi, it seems that they will not need a magical miracle either. Oh wait.
Oh my goodness, I believe I did sound like you there for a moment.
Yeah, family curse, blah blah blah.
What do you mean, the family curse? I am in no way related to the Ushiromiya family.
Were.
Fuck. As long as they do not seek approval from Kraus and Natsuhi, it seems that they will not need a magical miracle either.
Exactly. Canon watched how Shannon lived and changed his own way of life. Then he let his true feelings be known and started a relationship with Jessica Onechan. There's no need for magic anymore. If it were a one-sided love, then he might need a love charm or something, but their feelings are already mutual. They've already communicated their intentions to one another, so why do they still need a magical miracle?
Both furniture were in relationships of mutual love. There shouldn't have been any need for a miracle any longer, so why do they still desire some miracle? And on top of that, the single brooch was portrayed as bestowing only a single miracle. It felt almost as though Shannon was hesitating because if she used up that miracle for herself, Canon's chances at love would automatically be sealed away for eternity.
So this is the question, why is furniture not allowed to love?
So you ask why love will not be permitted without the miracle known as magic.
And also, though the furniture laments with such certainty that they're unable to love, this golden butterfly brooch is supposed to give them permission to do it. Just what on earth is it?
Tickets to a Sting concert. Whatever happens there goes. There are no rules.
Of course, it is a crystallization of magic. However, like most magics, it can be burnt by the anti-magic toxin. So, it can only have an effect for those who believe in magic and witches. Correct. So, Shannon, who was capable of interacting with me, was able to make use of its benefits. However, if Shannon had dropped it on a sandy beach and someone who knew nothing picked it up, if that person was shrouded in the anti-magic toxin, they wouldn't be able to make use of the brooch's magic power. Precisely. A witch's magical items often lose their power if they are not handed over directly. However, just as how a witch can manifest herself if her existence is acknowledged by a great many humans and the anti-magic toxin disappears, the power of that magical item can also be preserved if it is believed in by a great many humans. That's ironic. No matter what kind of magic we witches give out, everything depends on whether the human we give it to can accept it. I have heard that the same goes for medicine. Even with the exact same medicine, humans who know of the medicine's effect experience it to a greater degree. Oh, I think I understand. When taking cold medicine, I've gotten the feeling that it's more effective when you read the description on the bottle. As she listened, Beato thought that magic sounded a bit like a ritual. When most humans think of magic, they think of incredible miracles being performed one after another in front of a crowd of other humans. However, this true magic that the older sister spoke of sounded almost like a ritual, something that has no effect if the person using it doesn't believe. Shannon's heart was captured by George bit by bit as he grew by leaps and bounds. However, she had given up, thinking that one of a different class such as herself would never find love with him. That was when Beatrice had given her the golden butterfly brooch and encouraged her. Giving up means that you've got zero chance of success. However, if the power of magic makes you think there might be some chance of your wish coming true, then the odds of it happening are at least greater than zero. Zero remains zero forever, so miracle is a fitting word to describe even a faint chance coming into existence. Humans can use magic to defeat resignation, the process by which they themselves make their probability of success zero. When a human refuses to give up, though their chances of success may be small, those chances do exist. And the more determined they become, the greater those odds rise. It was easy to imagine Shannon making earnest wishes upon that brooch, believing in its effect, and trying little things over and over again to get George to like her. The power of belief becomes magic. And those who make others believe are witches. Those who make others believe are witches. That's an interesting way to put it. If you think about it, it's true. Let's say a witch steps out into a spotlight, waves her staff in front of a crowd of onlookers, and makes a rabbit appear out of thin air. The many people who see it will surely assume it to be a sleight of hand. They might wonder at how it was accomplished, but they'll surely say it couldn't have been real magic. And when they applaud, it will be for a splendid trick that only appeared to be magic. But what if someone performed a sacred ceremony inside a great ancient temple in front of a crowd of believers and ended up with the exact same result? Would any of the people there think it was a sleight of hand? In fact, in the ancient past, when magic tricks as a form of entertainment didn't even exist and divine spirits were worshipped, this would doubtlessly have been a miracle of magic. In that case, could this here be magic? Ha! Well now, what will be the first spell performed by the witch unable to use magic? Here I have an empty teacup. There is nothing inside it. Yes, it is empty. And then you take it, turn it like this, and place it upside down on the table. And then, what next? Let's both close our eyes and chant the incantation. It was the same magic that had been used to give Maria candies. Beato the Elder grinned and closed her eyes. When she saw this, Beato slowly chanted the incantation. Come, try to remember. What was inside the cup? Indeed. Come, try to remember. What was inside the cup? As she chanted, Beato slowly opened her eyes and made sure that the older sister was repeating her with her eyes closed. Then a single gold butterfly appeared out of nowhere, fluttered down onto the overturned cup, and scattered away in a golden splash. May I open my eyes now? Yes, please open your eyes and inspect the contents of the cup. Well now, let us see how well your first bit of magic has performed. Taking her time and dragging out the suspense a little, the older sister lifted up the cup. Aha! How is it?
These two Beatos have a weird energy.
When the cup was lifted up, there lay a single golden rose petal. Does this count as magic? Yes, it does. You used magic to create a golden flower petal inside an overturned cup. Why can I use the golden truth?
Great question.
It was a splendid bit of magic.
Isn't that a power reserved specifically for the one who is the Golden Witch?
Oh, that makes sense, if so.
Yeah, this Beato had the office of Golden Witch at one point.
Without love, it cannot be seen.
She said the line.
She said the line.
Oh my god, she said the line.
I said the line.
Verily, she has said the line.
That much I understand.
It may be viewed as a trick. It may also be believed to be magic. It all depends on the toxin of the individual.
Then again, while this can explain some of the magic that's been used in the past, it can't explain everything. To get back to the point, all this stuff about believing in magic and rituals, it doesn't answer the question, what was this golden butterfly brooch which allowed the furniture who strongly believed that they could not love to finally find love?
If we blindly accept the story of those two Beatos as true, is that the plural we are going with? Beatos? Beatrice? Beatopides? We'll workshop
Beatoy?
this. Beatoy? Come back to me on that one. Might we assume that the magic had the power to cancel out their feelings of resignation?
Why mustn't furniture fall in love? Why is the power of the magic brooch necessary? Yes, it does seem at a glance as though what you and the Beatos are saying provides an answer, though a vague one. However, let me say this as a reader. I can't accept this as you presented it.
You cannot accept it, you say.
The tragedy those furniture are struggling to resist is way too big to be explained away by that. I doubt they could reform their way of thinking just because they were given some charm for making relationships. It's true that the brooch gave Shannon the chance she needed to get together with George Oni-chan, but sometime after that she said she wanted to deepen their relationship without borrowing the power of magic. And she even tried to give the brooch back to Beato. At that point, she supposedly rejected the miracle of magic for a time. So, why would that power be necessary again?
Well, now, perhaps there is no way to say it except that love and marriage are very different things. Featherine laughed lightly. Oh, that's you.
Featherine laughed lightly. She had probably formed a theory of her own and was laughing at Angie, who hadn't reached it yet. Let me hear it. What's your view?
I'd like to keep that to myself for just a little while longer. And of course, watching you form doubts and let your mind race is one of the joys of being read aloud to. If I gave you my views, you would accept them and stop thinking. Then, having you read aloud would be no fun.
So, you're having me read a mystery novel you already know the answer to, just so you can enjoy watching me blunder about.
Have you seen the comment section on this Let's Play? It is absolutely off the chain. I think you underestimate the value of watching people fumble around at a mystery they do not understand. Well, I am the Witch of Theater going. If you wish to laugh at my bad taste, please do not hold back, my Miko.
Wah ha ha ha.
Wee he he he.
I understand that part of magic is created by a believing heart, and that magic probably permeates deep into the world of us humans as well. However, though it permeates so far, the power that dwells within magic is small. Lots of people visit shrines to pray for success on tests. However, people rarely credit such a visit as the reason for their success. By itself, praying does little more than give one peace of mind.
Before we get too far for it, I do want to point out the one line about how, what is it? Love and marriage are very different things. Yeah, you don't say. You can't tell me the scene isn't full of like the queerest subtext ever.
I didn't get that reading, huh?
Really? Oh, it's been on my mind lately. Can you guess why?
In love, where even a small chance and a little bit of courage can result in major changes, this power can sometimes bring about incredible transformations. However, would something like that really be enough to change the insurmountable fate of furniture? In the past, when Shannon and George were brought together, I imagine that the brooch's magical power functioned as little more than a ritualistic charm. However, by now, The magical power that the furniture seek from that brooch. It's not something as vague as a ritual. It feels much stronger, like a whole different interpretation of magic. If you believe in a sleight of hand, it becomes magic. But that's no more than a child's trick, and that only explains one part of magic. They are hoping for something. They're hoping for something with much, much more power. For true magic, not a sleight of hand. So then, just what kind of magic is the furniture expecting from that brooch?
It's weird how she keeps referring to them as the furniture, but I get it because it's necessary for the clarification of in this case, but still, it's weird.
Do they already know that everyone's gonna die?
That's kind of what I took Canon's whole, we don't have much time thing to mean. Remember earlier he was like, it's already too late. He was being all doomsday-y.
The whole thing where they were talking about how only one of them had a chance.
Makes
and that
it-
the other one would retire. What if it's oh yeah, my plan is I kill fucking everybody except for George and fucking vanish off the face of the earth.
It feels like one of them knows that they're going to have to do something horrible tonight.
Mm-hmm. Who's
I believe this is Jessica.
a golden butterfly brooch?
There exists a magic charm that the golden witch Beatrice gave to Shannon in exchange for smashing a mirror, and which made her love bear fruit. That is what this is. From his pocket, Cannon pulled a single wing from a gold butterfly. Though it was a single wing, it was easy to tell from its shape that it had originally been a part of something with a butterfly motif.
If you just need someone to break a mirror for you, I mean, I have been practicing my boxing.
That does explain why I have to keep cleaning up shards of glass from your bathroom every morning. Could you not find like a recreational mirror to punch rather than the ones that are installed in the walls of your home? The magic of this brooch gave Shannon the chance she needed to start her relationship with George Shama. However, before that magic was fully realized, she left it. Oh, shit. I didn't realize I've missed the quotation mark. Fuck! Sorry, I don't know where that voice came from. The magic of this brooch gave Shannon the chance she needed to start her relationship with George Sama. However, before that magic was fully realized, she left it to me. So thanks to the power of this brooch, I gained your affection, milady.
That's not true. I started liking you because of my own honest feelings.
Thank you very much. You are human, so you do not believe in witches or magic. It is only natural. However, as furniture created by magic, my very existence here is proof that the miracle of magic exists.
Sorry, what are you talking about?
Jessica tried to make sense of Cannon's words, however she couldn't understand, and had to ask him to repeat it wearing a stiff smile. Both Shannon and I need magic to succeed in love. The key for that is this brooch. I stepped on it and crushed it, so we each have one part now. The brooch had lost its power when it was split in half. However, if it was ever joined together again, its magic would be revived. It would revive the miraculous power that could join furniture and a human together. However, a single brooch can only grant one person's wish. Only one of us furniture can be joined by this single brooch. That was the final seed of love, a spark of love, which the old, shrilly laughing Beatrice had sown. The old Beatrice had said that humans tormented by this spark were like ripe fruit, which she cruelly used for her own enjoyment. However, the magic infused within this seed was real. It was the only crystallization of magic that the Golden Witch Beatrice had ever left in this world, and its glint increased.
What the?
It is okay, but please do not look right at it. It'll blind you.
Ah!
The glint grew even stronger, shining like the sun. Even without Cannon's warning, Jessica wouldn't have been able to stop herself from covering her eyes with her hands. That's the gay beam. You're gay now. What do you mean now? As the light grew stronger, a sound like the roar of the wind or the tide also grew in intensity. The sound of the wind and rain outside had already been overwhelmed. Jessica could no longer even stand, and she crouched on the floor. A flood of sound and light. Until it withdrew, Jessica could do nothing but moan.
What the fuck?
What the fuck? Why would you end it right there? Come on. Now you're just pulling my leg. That's some shenanigans right there. Luckily for all y'all, there's a second half to this episode right now. I
You
remembered to do it
remembered.
that time.
Wow.
I never remember to do that.
I had forgotten.
I
After I was the one who was fucking joking about it during the break, I forgot.
TBH, I almost forgot it too, but whatever. We did it for once. Oh, come on now, it's okay. Let's hurry.
I hope Father likes sweet foods.
Oh, yes, he does like them. In fact, he seems to enjoy eating pretty much anything.
After waiting for the master of the room to be out, Beato and Kumasawa entered the study. Then they quickly cleaned up the books on the desk, set down the basket they had brought there, and opened it up. Inside were several cute cookies cut out in a butterfly shape. They set out a pretty plate and neatly arranged the cookies on it. It was the kind of subtle, conscientious touch that the recipient wasn't likely to even notice. The whole arrangement was filled with that sort of feeling.
I'll see you spare no. I see you spare no efforts for the sake of your beloved father. This is the most I'm allowed to do right now. To think that I would give Battler cookies.
I like nutter butter. But peanut butter is very sugary in it.
Why should I, the ruler of the night, do so much for a guest who comes so rarely?
Then the study door swung violently open. It was Battler, with Genji by his side. Battler's eyes went wide for a second when he saw the Beato there, but his expression quickly went blank again.
What are you doing here?
Father, please excuse me. I didn't come here to get in the way of your important game.
How were you able to get in here? Wasn't this room locked?
My apologies. They wanted to surprise you with a gift, so I lent them a key.
Oh, see? Have a look. Beatrice-sama baked these cookies with all of her soul, hoping you would enjoy them. Oh,
Kumasawa-san and Genji-san taught me how. I never knew Genji-san was so good at baking cookies.
Turns out the way to a person's heart is through their stomach, by which I mean baking them cookies.
We get that
by
Genji's
which I
good
mean
at cookies
punching them
here,
through the solar plexus.
and we get that Ronave is many chapters earlier.
Yeah,
But it doesn't come up until now that Genji's good at baking cookies.
of course. Yeah, just in case there was any doubt on that.
He hasn't done it much of late, but long ago Genji-san cooked all sorts of things. He was especially good with sweets.
Cookies?
Yes.
Pass the milk, please.
It's a gift for you, Father. I sincerely pray for your victory in this important match.
Battler looked at the plate on the study desk that was piled up with beautiful cookies, and the message card of encouragement lying next to it, and his face twisted with a complex expression, which might have been one of sadness and might have been one of hatred. Master. Genji urged him to consider saying some words of gratitude towards Beato. Battler understood. Anyone would be pleased to receive an act of kindness like this. Even though he understood it logically, he couldn't help but give a small exasperated sigh.
Thank you. I am very grateful. However, I do not like sweets. Please, take it away.
Master!
Don't make me say the same thing again. Clean it up and take it away.
Master, couldn't you try just one bite? Beatrice-sama worked hard to make them for your sake.
I appreciate the sentiment. I'm in the middle of a vital game right now. This is the final game. It is vital
Citation
for both me
needed.
and Beato as well. They said it. It's right there on the cover. Final Fantasy. There won't be any more after that one. Right? Right? That would be quite the bamboozle. So please, don't mess with my heart any more than is necessary.
Oh, that's just too sad for her. I'm glad that you're grateful for her feelings, but can't you show it by taking just one little bite?
Father.
Beato looked at Battler sadly. Battler hung his head to avoid her gaze. The expression on his face caused Beato more pain than any he had shown her before. If we're to take this as some kind of analog for what happened with Kinzo and his in the Ushurume Beato raising project. It seems that he at some point finally sort of kind of succeeded in convincing some poor girl that she was Beatrice. Right? Like we saw bits of that where like we saw the Beatrice in Kuadorian cooped up, right? So this is probably before Rosa meets her. And she's like, I'm supposed to, because she said to Rosa, like, I know I'm supposed to be Beatrice. That's what people tell me, but it doesn't feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes off and dies.
Mm-hmm.
By face first into a rock. Kumasawa, please clean this up and take it away.
Master!
Kumasawa clung to Battler, but he turned his back to her.
My apologies. Let's clean this up, Kumasawa-san.
I won't allow it. By making this gift, Beatrice-sama gave it her all to try and support you in the only way she could. To tell her to take it away without eating a bite herself. How can you trifle with a woman so?
Kumasawa.
If you call yourself a man, you should at least try a bite when a woman makes you a handmade snack. If you truly intend to crush a woman's feelings like this, I, Kumasawa, will not back down even if it kills me. No, I won't.
Kumasawa-san, you've done enough for me already.
I won't allow it. Master, do you think they're poisoned or something?
Yeah. If Beato ever came to give me cookies, of course I'd figured that she put some kind of crazy poison in them. And she's asking me if I think there's poison in these? Who would expect that cookies piled up in such a neat and cute way could possibly have something bizarre hidden inside of them? And anyway, who could possibly imagine Beato making something like this? Because of that, Battler couldn't bear to look at Beato's innocent creation, which was completely free from any malicious thoughts like slipping poison into cookies. You're not mean enough like the real Beato. Beato quietly started to clean up. Every now and then she sniffled. Kumasawa continued to glare at Battler, but she then gave a small sigh and helped Beato clean up. However, the hardness didn't disappear from her expression.
My apologies, Father. Please excuse me.
Don't call me that. Don't call me Father. Beato never called me that.
Yes, as you wish. My apologies.
Yeah, like him realizing that the fruits of his labor is someone who can never be like the person he remembers. Right? For one thing, she's not Italian. Hanging her head so low that her chin touched her chest, Beato hurried out of the study. Giving Battler a look, Kumasawa chased after her. Kumasawa threw the door open a bit violently, and the footsteps of the pair rapidly disappeared off into the distance.
I may be his little sister, but I'm not sure how I feel about that.
If she were anyone other than Beato, you'd think of him as a true enemy of woman. Is that it?
I don't have a clue why Oni-chan and Beato act so friendly together. Right now, I think of Beato as our greatest enemy, the one we must defeat. Still, even so, as a woman, I can't say I like how Oni-chan's treating her.
And yet, I can understand Battler's feelings a little too. What a sad state of affairs.
I still don't understand what kind of antagonism or connection there was between them. However, Oni-chan probably viewed Beato as a friendly rival, if not something more. Oni-chan's reason for defeating Beato isn't to destroy an enemy out of hatred. It feels like he wants to give a sincere answer to her questions. Yes, I can't deny the fact that their fight isn't based on hatred, but on a stronger emotion. And on top of that, Beato really is something to remain dedicated to Oni-chan all the more, even after being treated so coldly. I agree with the other, older sister Beatrice. I can't understand why she's so dedicated to Oni-chan.
And though it will only happen after a changing over 1,000 years, that single factor that you do not understand will certainly be inherited by the Golden Witch Beatrice we know so well.
Yeah, I understand that. Learning about this Beato will eventually teach us something about that Beato. And that may be able to explain the greatest piece in this crazy game, if not the game board itself.
Such a mysterious witch. Though she said those words, Featherine wore a confident smile on her face. Her sarcastic confidence, as though she had already knew the answer, was unchanged.
Beatrice, I want to ask you something. Yes, what would you like to know, Angie-san? When Angie asked her question, Beato, who had been reading a fragment book in the shadows of the library, jumped. Why do you call Ushiromiya Battler father? Because he created the piece that I am. In that case, why are you so dedicated to Ushiromiya Battler? Is there some rule that pieces must obey the creator that makes them?
There is no such rule. I believe you'll find that in the rules under the Air Bud section. A piece is like a tool, or perhaps a knife. When used skillfully by the game master, they can be quite useful. However, if you use them incorrectly, they can hurt you as well. Whether a tool is used as a tool or a weapon, that has nothing to do with the tool's own will. It is merely the result.
In that case, why are you so dedicated to Oni-chan? It's almost as though that's your goal as a piece. Yes, that is the goal that gave birth to me. Did Oni-chan, the one who gave birth to you, give you that goal?
That is not it. As the game master, Battler merely set a piece with that role on the board. Also, the one who gave birth to this piece was the first game master, and the one who created this game, Beatrice herself.
This is getting confusing. In other words, you keep calling Oni-chan father, but he's not actually your father. You're just calling him that affectionately because you feel obligated to devote yourself to him. Yes, I think that's true. Father was the one who placed me on the game board. If he hadn't, my piece would never have had a turn. So the fact that I exist here right now and am able to devote myself to my goal is all thanks to Father. I see. So that's why it makes sense for you to call him Father. In that case, who told you to devote yourself to Oni-chan? That must have been the first game master, Beato herself. This is so confusing.
You wish to ask her why she must devote herself to Ushiromiya Battler, correct? However, she cannot give you that answer. She was given nothing but the goal itself. Only the person who gave her that goal knows the reasons for which they did so.
I see. Consider that as well, child of man, right?
Did I detect a hint of sarcasm in your voice?
Have you ever not while my mouth was open?
Fair point, child of man.
So that means you already have an idea, and you're laughing at my confusion.
Oh, you really are just perfect for my Miko.
I will do anything for Father. My existence will bring Father happiness. That is my greatest pleasure. And...
At that point, Beato hesitated.
And? And what? Yes, and if I could one day have Father acknowledge my efforts, it would be my greatest joy.
Oh.
What the hell? If you only wanted to devote yourself to him, I'd say you're just another furniture of the witch, but you want him to acknowledge your efforts? That's less like furniture and more like...
Angie stopped mid-sentence.
That's less like furniture and more like you're just a girl who loves Oni-chan. I don't get it. The driving force behind this Beato is that of a girl who adores Oni-chan. But then what does that make her? If the first Beato liked Oni-chan, then she should have adored him and devoted herself to him directly. Why would she create a piece of herself, a separate entity, to do it? As it stands, even if she does attract Oni-chan's attention, it'll be towards the piece version of herself, not the creator who made that piece. If I ever like someone, I'll probably want to do things for them. But of course, I'd want to do those things myself. After all, I would want him to notice me. It's a love that will always go unrewarded, no matter how devoted she is. And she's doing this out of her own free will? Beato's actions look no different from those of an average girl in love. She's devotedly doing all she can for him, dreaming that her kindness will eventually be acknowledged. Why would Beato create a piece like this? Maybe putting it in romantic terms is a bit too confusing. Let's try using food as an example. This would be as pointless as creating a piece to eat food for you. No matter how much food your piece eats on your behalf, you won't get any less hungry, right? You're the one who wants to eat. There's no reason to have a piece do that in your place. For most jobs in this world, you can get someone else to do it for you. However, with love and food alone, there can never be any point in letting another person do it in your place. That's right. This Beato was created as a piece because of an impossible reason. Though at a glance she looks like just a normal girl, the more I know about her, the less I understand, like she's an imaginary number. Father hates it when I call him father, and the me that father desires didn't call him by that name either. Right, the former you spoke to everyone without even using honorifics.
Another good indicator that Beato might have been foreign.
Italian Beatrice intensifies.
Because someone coming in with the occupying forces, right? Someone Western, might know the language but not be familiar with using honorifics properly.
How to be polite and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
However, simply possessing that knowledge doesn't mean I can refer to father quite that informally. I'd like to give it my all and start by calling him Battler-san. I'm surprised you haven't gotten discouraged after being treated so coldly. But no, Battler-san is in the middle of an important game right now. His opponent is the formidable Lady Erica, piece of the great Lady Berncastle. It's no surprise that he was in a bad mood when I stepped in at a delicate moment in his game, just as it was starting to reach a critical point, and called him by that name he doesn't want to hear. Apparently, Beato still wanted to devote herself to Battler even after being treated in such a cold manner. Though to an outsider it might just look as though she's being snubbed, it doesn't faze her at all. It truly is the blindness of a girl in love. Or is it that I can't see because I have no love?
At times, love does let you see the unseeable.
Beato once again immersed herself in the fragment book the former Beato had written. She was trying to find something about the Beato that Battler desired. And she shrugged as though saying, well, I don't get it. Featherine laughed when she saw this, hinting that an innocent young woman could never understand.
Wait, should she have more of like a villainess laugh? Like, yes. Now that I've done it,
we haven't given anybody the oh ho ho Joe-sama laugh.
Oh, there it is.
Woo! Angie grumbled something back unhappily. Their exchange seems to have had no effect whatsoever on Beato as she sat in the shadows of the library.
After chasing all the others out, only Battler remained in the study. There was no color in this dimly lit room. However, for just the short time that the plate of cookies had been placed there, the room had seemed at least a little cheery. Battler's gaze drifted over to the table, which no longer had anything on it. When he did, the cookie plate that had been there until a second ago was revived. However, it was an illusion. Though the cookies could be looked at, they could not be touched, much less eaten. If Battler wished, he could make it possible to touch them or eat them, but it would be an empty sensation. It would only give the touch and taste that Battler desired. He no longer had any way of knowing what kind of cookies they had been. On the reception sofa across from Battler, a cloud of gold butterflies slowly gathered and took the form of the old Beato.
Come on, have a bite. It's not every day that I make these by hand. Have no fear. I'm confident in how well they've turned out.
Hearing that from a lady makes them all the more dubious. Seriously, any cookies you made would obviously have some kind of strange poison in them.
How shocking that you should think so. Even if I did put something in, it'd be no worse than the kind that does this and that to your other thing.
I want to point out one other thing that because we mentioned that like we thought a lot of the meta stuff was Featherine going back and forth with these characters that she's created and creating these scenes between them. We can already see an example of that within the narrative she's woven as well. So that doesn't seem too far out.
Yeah. If you do that sort of thing all the time, Battler-kun will never agree to eat them.
Putting things in someone's food is pretty basic, isn't it? Fingernails, bits of hair, magic charms, fragments of love. What would you people put in? Yes, ma'am. I wouldn't put anything in them. I just eat them all by myself. Obviously. Do you have to be so predictable? Well, they say a girl's got to grab by all 3 sacks. First one's got the stomach, right? Next comes the wallet. And what was the third one again? Giggle. If I could catch a guy's attention, I want to make him sacrifice his body and heart and soul to me. That's why I pour all my power and affection into my cooking. In any event, making someone eat your food is probably a frontal attack that's gone unchanged throughout the ages. Ridiculous! How pathetic to think that you couldn't grasp a single man's heart without relying on such simple tricks. Oh, are you saying you've succeeded in grasping a man's heart, One-sama?
Battler, there's nothing weird in it, so have a bite. Don't think you'll ever get a chance to eat my handmade cookies again.
There probably won't be another chance. I slowly stretched my hand out to the illusion of the cookie plate and touched it. Just before I did, it became a cloud of gold butterflies and vanished into the darkness of the study. The illusions of Ronove and Virgilia also disappeared. However, the illusion of Beato alone still remained on the sofa.
Is there something not to your liking?
You tried to force me to say it out loud?
The more the new me differs from the form you wished for, the more you're reminded that I can never be revived again, correct?
Ugh.
If you let a good woman get away, you never get a second chance. So, only now, you've finally realized what a good woman I was.
Shut up! You never appear again, that'd be a relief. Beato laid sprawled on the sofa and looked up at the ceiling. Battler also turned his back and moved to the window. For a while, there was silence. I think this is Beato.
I imagine you understand, but...
I do understand.
The me you were expecting has already disappeared.
I know. Even though that Beato is you without a doubt, she's a different being than the old you. And I can say with certainty that you'll never revive again.
My soul, femininity, sparkling personality, and splendid character were cultivated over 1,000 years spent as a witch. Unless an exactly identical 1,000 years is traversed, nothing can become me. And so, at the moment you decided to create me, my personal history was different.
Yeah, that damn burn castle is already guaranteed that you'll never revive.
However, you still hope for it, don't you? One day, the new me will trip and land on her head, and all her memories of the past will be restored. You were hoping for something like that, weren't you? A delusional plot like that wouldn't even pass in a light novel these days.
Shut up! In the past, you waited. You waited for me to remember and take notice. Then what was it? Does this mean that our relationship is exactly the opposite of how it once was?
Well, at times, I did continue the game, believing that you would eventually notice and remember that a miracle would occur.
How did it feel? How did it feel when you were playing with me?
As they say, look inside your own heart.
It hurts. Only she didn't look so much like you, I would have kept my cool a little better.
Well, do as you wish. In the past, I toyed with you and tormented you. Now's your chance for revenge against me. The new me will just wander about nervously, ignorant of everything. You may boil or burn her as you see fit. Perhaps doing so will ease your old hatred.
It would if it was you. It'd probably make me feel a lot better. But that Beato isn't you!
If it isn't me, who is it?
It's someone very much like you, but not you.
But even so, she most certainly is me.
True. She is you, and at the same time, she's a different person.
In that case, the new me really has it rough. She's being treated like a plaything in my place. How truly pitiable.
That might be the contradiction inside me. The new Beato seems like a different person, so I can't accept her. Even though I know she's a different person, she keeps reminding me of the Beato's face.
In that case, why not think of her as my daughter?
Your daughter?
She does share my blood, so consider her a daughter that closely resembles me. After all, she is my double, but hasn't lived 1,000 years, so calling her that is not incongruous.
True.
Imagine that I have died, left behind a daughter, and entrusted her to you. Won't it become a little easier to deal with her that way?
That's actually a good analogy. It's unlike you.
Okay, so now, imagine a canteen with a hole in the bottom.
No. Fuck you. We are not fucking doing this again. You can just turn the canteen upside down, screw the top on the right, and it's still perfectly usable.
There's a hole in the top.
So drink out of that hole.
Do not jest. That is my daughter. She is the child I left behind after my death. You are free to press my likeness upon her. You may also let loose your pent-up resentment on her in my place. I wonder if this is what happened IRL.
Yeah.
Making her bear my sins and torturing you as you please may calm your grudge. If that doesn't match your tastes, you can also guide her down the right path so that she does not end up on the inhumane road that I have tread.
Okay. So if that's what... That would make a lot more sense.
And is basically what we theorized.
Yeah, like that's certainly part of it, yeah.
She was made to devote herself to you since the moment of her birth. If you wish, you can mold her into any shape you desire. After 1,000 years of miracles, she might even become me.
So I could even strip her naked and drag her around with a chain like you did to me once.
Gee, I wonder if that's the thing that happened.
This is
IRL.
getting steadily more horrifying.
Yeah? Yes, at this point, even greater humiliation would be possible.
So, she is your double and your daughter.
Yes, she's exactly the same person, the same piece, which was created once more by the rule called Beatrice. However, when I am unable to accept it that way, I can think of her as Beato's daughter. Finding a clear guidepost for how to interact with her and smooth the uncertainty in my heart. Finally, I understand how cruel I was to her then. My tears poured to the ground, and when I followed them with my eyes, I noticed that a white business card had fallen onto the floor. It was the message card that adorned those cookies. I rushed her, telling her to clean up and leave right away, which was probably why it had fallen to the floor unnoticed. I picked it up and read the message on it. It was extremely short, pure, and sincere. So clear that I should be able to read it. However, it's blurred with tears and I can't see anything.
Oh god, my tears are pixels.
Square tears! Square tears! The flood of light and sound slowly dissipated. The silence that followed was not interrupted even by the sound of wind and rain outside that had once been present. Both Jessica and George timidly opened their eyes. Where in the world is this? It was a strange room they had never seen before. It looked like a Western-style smoking room. Its furnishings were stylish and expensive. It felt like the room of some dignified person. There was a set of black tea on the table, as well as a chessboard which seemed to be halfway through a game. However, there was something strangely out of place. The black and white checkerboard pattern made it feel like chess, but it looked like a very similar, yet totally different game that no one knew of. And similar to how it looked like chess and not like chess, the furnishings of this room, no, the room itself, although it seemed like a Western smoking room, it also felt like something completely different.
Fuck, did we just wake up on the other side?
Oh shit, that really means you were a lesbian.
Just where is this place? Jessica-chan and Cannon-kun and Shannon? Where's Shannon? I'm right here, George-sama.
And I am here as well. Milady, George-sama, we apologize for bringing you to a place like this.
What on earth is going on? Just when Shannon took out something that looked like a butterfly wing and it started shining, the same thing happened to me. Cannon-kun took out this golden butterfly brooch thing, it started to sparkle, and... Milady, George-san, first, please allow us to apologize, and please stay calm. Something strange is about to happen. That strange thing will probably test us. Who's talking?
George.
Test us? Do you mean that trial you were just talking about that we had to overcome if we wanted to be together? Is that it? A trial?
Oh, did someone call for my services?
Oh, fuck. I'm not ready to go to jail. I need to do a lot more crimes first.
I haven't explained it to you yet, milady. My apologies. But please, if your words just a second ago were the truth, please lend me your strength. I will give it everything I've got, so please.
I don't understand a thing that's been happening. Do you know something, George Nissan? A bit. I'm just as surprised as you by what's happening now. However, if they're saying that this is an unavoidable trial and that we're essential for it, I intend to take on whatever may come. A trial. Cannon-kun, the brooch.
Yeah.
The two of them brought the halves of the broken golden butterfly brooch closer to each other. As they grew closer, the strength of their bright yellow radiance increased.
Who's
That's
talking?
George.
Jessica-chan, I want you to prepare your heart as well. I am already prepared. What do you mean? I don't have a clue. What the hell's going on? It's a trial. A test for a pair of those who love each other. Huh?
George spoke these awkward-seeming words quickly and easily. It was such an embarrassing line that Jessica couldn't help turning red, but the expression on George's face, which was so serious it was almost grim, forced her to tense up as well. Shannon and Cannon were just as serious, with a glow in their eyes as though they were taking with part in a sacred duel. The pair of them brought the 2 gold butterfly wings together. Then the wings they held became a single brooch and regained their magical power. An even more intense light filled the room, and the scene was burnt into the retinas of all present, as the brooch shattered and 2 shining things flew out of it.
People live for the sake of love. Yes, this world is love itself. Oh, how great is the power of love. Love is everything there is.
Suddenly, the voices of 2 people they had never heard before rang out. What was it? Who were they? Oh, these 2!
Oh, these 2. I don't remember what voice I gave them.
Oh, well, feel free to make it up. George and Jessica nervously opened their eyes. When they did, they saw that 2 demons had appeared there, almost as though the 2 halves of the brooch had become them.
Oh my god.
They make the
It's
boink, boink.
Fur. Do you remember the song about Fur from Sticky Zeitgeist?
Yes, I do.
Every single morning of every single day.
God, that song is so fucking catchy.
I get on my knees and I pray.
We're gonna post that in the Umineko Discord when this goes live.
You were the one who showed up. Help. It's stuck in my head
Take
again.
my blessings from your cup.
Yeah. Hey, that's weird, Fur. What are we doing in a place like this?
Can you give them big trans girl cryptid podcaster energy?
I have no fucking clue what those words mean. I am so sorry. It really is strange, Zepar. There's no one but humans and furniture here. Where's the witch? Where's the witch capable of summoning us? Yes, we remember the name of the witch of this contract really well, don't we? Let's try calling it out, Fur. Yes, you're right, Zepar. We know the name of the witch of the contract, the Golden Witch. Then let's try calling her. Beatrice!
Considering their exaggerated theatrical manner and their slightly comical style of talking, it'd probably be hard to comprehend the great power at this point. Field trip time. When the 2 demons called Beatrice's name, a cyclone of gold butterflies picked up throughout the room. Then it took the form of 2 golden witches.
Oh, there are 2 Beatrices. Well, there are 2 of us as well.
We're actually going with Beatos.
Okay.
The plural. We're still working on the plurals.
Why shouldn't there be 2 Beatos every now and then? This is my double and my little sister. We 2 are the same, and as a single person.
Shannon is canon theory.
Pleased to meet you. It has been a long time, Beatrice-sama.
Nerd.
Am I dreaming? I feel the same. Still, it's too early to get dumbfounded.
Unlike Jessica, George had maintained his composure even during this bizarre scene. After all, Shannon had already told him what would happen next.
Demons of the contract, it has been too long. Zepar, and you too, Fur. Ha! Long time no see. You seem to be in high spirits as always. But what a cute little sister you have. I'll bet those teary, juicy eyes taste like white peaches. Well, I wonder.
Zepar and Fur latched onto Beato from either side, wearing strange smiles. Each movement they made was exaggerated yet polished, as though they were acting out a play.
Leave it at that for now, demons of the contract. To think that tonight will be the last time we see that mischievous spirit. It will be dearly missed. The last time? The brooch, our vessel, has already been destroyed. In other words, our role is finished after this. Ah, yes, it has been fun, Beatrice. However, it was decided when the contract was made. It was decided that we must lend our power one more time before our final farewell.
Do you want to see something very distracting that you'll never be able to unsee?
Yeah.
So it's pretty obvious that the sprites are flipped versions of each other, right?
Yeah.
With some different colors and stuff. One other thing, the shadows are on their bodies are also flipped. So there's no constant light source.
Oh.
just thought you'd appreciate never being able to unsee that.
Yeah. So, this is truly the final miracle. Once is enough for the miracle of love. After all, eternal love will never be needed a second time. They're the fucking game show hosts.
Woo, 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 woo. Big money, no whammy.
There you have it, lovers. Those gathered here have been cursed to have unfulfilled love unless a miracle occurs. Your last chance is the power of the golden butterfly brooch, which can grant such a miracle.
I think she needs a real game show voice here.
And like it or not, this chance is limited to this evening. This miracle can be given only to a single pair.
I won't lose.
Yeah, let's both give it our all.
Shannon and Cannon exchanged serious gazes. Both had already readied themselves to fight for the sake of their love.
I don't really get it, but I don't want to borrow the power of some strange demon.
Jessica was finally starting to figure this place out. These demons were probably planning to pit her and Cannon against George and Shannon.
Let me be clear, this is none of your business. Ken and I can handle our relationships by ourselves. I shouldn't have to put myself in the debt of some bizarre demons.
Milady, please listen. If we do not overcome this trial, we cannot be together.
Jessica, accept it. This is the only trial that could possibly be imposed on upstart furniture wishing to be joined with a human. More of this stuff about furniture and humans? Don't butt in. This has nothing to do with us. You still haven't told Milady.
I didn't know how I should explain it.
Cannon-kun, Shannon, and you, George Nissan, why are you listening to these creeps? No one can stand in the way of a person's love. Why do we have to please these demons? It's none of their business. Well, it seems we have quite a troublesome blockhead among us. I said the title. We could begin the game like this, but that would hardly be fair.
Is it bad that it completely went by me now? I think we're that far over the hump that it just completely went by me, and I'm like, oh right, yeah, Amogus, yeah, among them. You said it. Ooh.
Couldn't you explain it for her? I don't understand it that well myself. Is there some kind of problem with the love between Jessica-san and Cannon-san? Oh my, it seems you and the others understand nothing at all. With our blessing, the pair can cultivate their love at their leisure. No need to worry about suspicious demons. However, without our blessing, your love will vanish, disappear, wither, and decay. How the hell are you so sure? Because that's is fate.
You're free to choose not to accept it, free to choose not to resist it.
We're working on the tagline for our game show. It's still running it through a test.
Oh, and what happens if you choose not to resist it? That love will end, but perhaps an abstract explanation isn't so convincing. Well now, how could one explain the dead-end fate you're in? Ushiromiya Jessica, a future shared between the two of you would be far more grim than you realize. If you don't gain the miracle of magic, disaster will most certainly befall you. Then it will cover you, fester within, and split the two of you apart. Even I will not be so boorish as to describe the details of that process. However, if you don't believe, Jessica, I will tell you how it ends. Cannon will stop being a servant and will leave the island for all eternity. You will probably leave the island yourself in search of the one you love, but such a venture will doubtless be in vain. Yes, and then you will mourn and hate. Hate who? You. Me? No, the you of this moment.
What? And then you will mourn and hate. Okay, so they're saying that she'll regret not having... Okay, sorry. I needed a moment to figure out what they were saying. With a dramatic gesture, the two of them pointed at Jessica. They were saying that if she left, the person left with regrets would be Jessica herself.
What the hell are you saying? When you've lost the one you love, you'll realize how much you hate the person you were when you ran away from the trial to complete that love. Yes, we're messengers from the you of the future. Please, at this very moment, take your love seriously and fight. And if you don't listen to the message of the you from the future, the foolish snake eating its own tail will keep on gulping. The endless cycle of suffering will swallow you up, and you will simply vanish. What the hell are you talking about?
Jessica's confusion showed on her face as anger. However, a memory of something she'd heard a long time ago welled up in the back of her mind. Unlike Nason, I don't plan on working here for many years. After just a few years, or possibly, Nason ever decides to stop working here, I think I'll stop working too.
Canon-kun.
Yes, that is my name.
If you give up on the miracle of magic and hand it over to Shannon and George, they will be joined and will leave the island. Following that, Canon will leave the island as well. That is fate and unavoidable. Then what if they can obtain the miracle of magic? Of course, Canon will remain on the island by Jessica's side for all time. He will probably start learning music with Jessica as she desires. How their relationship will progress afterwards is a matter for the two lovers. They can deepen their relationship slowly all by themselves, as Jessica wanted. However, if that happens, George's son and I will not be joined.
Fate demands that we fight, putting our happiness and futures on the line.
Are you kidding me? What the hell? So if we're joined, the other pair will split apart? What kind of demon's game is this? Don't be mistaken. You will not be taking something from each other. Without the power of the golden butterfly brooch, neither love is fated to bear fruit. And who the hell decided that? It is due to your sin of falling in love with furniture, which is not allowed to love. Didn't Canon clearly reject you, saying that furniture was not qualified to love? Knowing that, you chose Canon as the one you loved. I won't let you get away with saying you didn't know.
Though she couldn't accept any of it, Jessica was unable to argue back. Then George spoke up with that soft tone that he always used to smooth things over. However, his expression was still ruthlessly serious.
Jessica-chan, can't you think of it this way? Think of it what way? I love Shannon. I'm prepared to overcome any and all trials and obstacles that stand in the way of us being together. What about you? Well, I'm not so weak that I'd lose heart that easily. Yes, that's it exactly. At this moment, we are being tested. Tested to see who can display the strength of our feelings more strongly. Are you saying that you actually support this crazy plan of theirs? It doesn't matter whether I support it or not. When I gave Shannon that engagement ring, I swore to fight all trials and barriers that stand in my way. No matter how unreasonable or incomprehensible these trials might be, I cannot choose to avoid them.
George spoke clearly and then looked at Jessica with a cold gaze. By now, Jessica almost understood. If she kept on grumbling and avoiding this demon's trial, the game between the two groups would automatically end with her defeat by default. In other words, George and Shannon would win. And then they would gain the miracle of magic, their love would be completed, and Jessica and Canon would split apart, with Canon eventually leaving the island and never seeing her again.
Nothing would make me happier than to see you step out of this trial. That way I wouldn't have to fight you. And that would show the limits of your feelings for Canon-kun.
It seemed as though George spoke ruthlessly, but he was actually being exceptionally fair. If Jessica lost by default, she would never be able to clear away her lingering regrets. That would leave a bad aftertaste for George as well.
We must fight openly for that single miracle. Even if I lose at the end, I'll be able to accept it if we both gave it our all. And because of that, I will be able to cheer on the victors from the bottom of my heart. George's determination is quite impressive. After hearing that, are you still going to run away?
The two demons giggled and challenged her. Of course, George didn't laugh, but he still challenged her with cold eyes.
And Shannon? Please forgive me, milady. I'm determined not to flinch in my resolve. Even if I know that sticking to my feelings means ending your loving relationship, milady.
Shannon had never before spoken to Jessica with such serious and solemn words. Jessica realized what a strong will had dwelt within her usually weak and clumsy friend, and was surprised.
Canon-kun.
I want to start a new life with you, milady. Even if that life means crushing Nason's happiness, I will not falter. Cannon was also doing all he could to restrain himself. Yes, all of them were being serious and frank, and abandoning any naivete that they might have possessed. All this about golden butterfly brooches and miracles of magic, and the frail trial that the demons were giving them. None of it mattered. Only one thing was being tested, whether or not they possessed the strong will to make their love come true. Jessica clenched her fists and hung her head, shaking while biting her lower lip. She was silent, but she would probably gain an unswerving will of steel before too long. She just needed a little bit of time first. The two demons who taunted people with dramatic gestures did not violate the silence that Jessica needed to resolve herself. Love brings about conflict, and this conflict gives rise to determination. As demons of love, they could understand more fully than any others how noble that determination was.
Jessica-san. Furthermore, this magical miracle is something that can be received by you as well. By me, too? What do you mean?
She had thought this had been about two pairs of lovers. Beato was surprised to suddenly hear that this had something to do with her as well.
With the miracle of the golden butterfly brooch, even your wish that your affection for Battler will be acknowledged, can be granted easily. And without such a miracle, you two can never be bound to him. It means you're no outsider to this either. To cut across the marshes of love. That is your wish, is it not? We will not make light of your wish. Even your relationship with Battler will eventually fester and rot. No matter how much of a positive outlook you take, you know that this fate will eventually come to pass, barring some kind of miracle. Well...
Beato hung her head sadly. She hadn't wanted to lose heart from that cookie incident. However, it would have been a massive lie to say that it hadn't hurt her. The more she tried to get close to Battler, the more she hurt him. However, she had been born in order to get close to Battler. She was like a hedgehog freezing in the cold and bunching together for warmth. She had approached him because of love and had been hurt for it.
If you understand that much, entrusting your fate to a miracle may prove to be of some interest. As they say, an unbought lottery ticket earns you nothing. Zepar, Furfur, let my little sister join in too. Oh, of course! Welcome, second Beatrice. We were planning on including you from the very beginning.
After all, we are Zepar and Furfur, the demons of love. I guess that's why they got the hearts there.
May I join in as well? If you want to, I don't see a problem. I won't prevent anyone from entering. I will win against all hindrances and make everyone celebrate our union. Of course, it's the same the other way around. If you succeed in love by defeating us at our best, then both Shannon and I promise to sincerely support the pair that wins. Right, Shannon? Yes, we will not lose. And even if we did, we would cheer you on from the bottom of our hearts.
I feel the same. I will not lose.
Well, if there's no way out of this fight, let's show them what we got, no matter what. Canon-kun and I don't plan on losing. You feel the same, do you not?
I like how that scene was written in a very stilted manner so that it could be taken as them responding to Beato's incursion to join in on their game, but also could be read as them just reiterating their resolve to each other. It's been like that for this entire scene where it's super unclear whether or not they've actually where they're actually not acknowledging the Beatos.
Mm-hmm. You feel the same, do you not? Yes. If there's even a small chance that that Battler-san will acknowledge me, I'm willing to put myself on the line. Well said. Good going, little sister. Zepar, Furfur, the actors have gathered. Then, let's begin, Furfur. Yes, let us begin, Zepar. Let us begin this trial of lovers, the fight over a single miracle of magic. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Can I phone a friend? I feel like I could use some advice right about now. See you all next time, everyone.
Bye.
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.